Um, so the rhizosphere is very important, and when we understand the soil, we're going to understand how to grow better. Because now you can fix nitrogen. You can help your son. Was it your son?
Yeah, he was telling me, my husband planted a couple, he was telling me that we've got to make sure they end up nitrogen.
Did you have an idea of what he would do in that case? Was he offering any solution?
No. When I talk to my kids, we talk about so many different things all at once that we lose track.
Oh, yeah.
Because their kids are in the background.
So what happened? You could
Take a bale of, we've gotten our lawn seeded, we made a couple extra bales of straw that sat out all winter, so they were starting to get, rotten a bit, nice and wet. And my husband saw where you just take the bale, like the long way, and you dig out, like a hole in it. And then we put compost in, like the stuff we buy, probably and some dirt on it with the tomato plant. And then it's got all that room for the roots to grow. So they seem to be doing pretty well. He's got 2 cherry tomatoes, and I planted 2 cherry tomatoes.
Oh, that makes it really fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, maybe we should tell them about the nitrogen fixers then.
Yeah.
Oh, it's true.
I wonder though, I'm just thinking like, I don't know.
It's green beans, right? Legumes? Legumes are your nitrogen.
Yeah,
Just grow them the season prior and your soil should be, your soil should be fixed. That's
yeah,
not
but
quite
we're
it.
talking about like how could we do it as they're growing through the
Well,
process?
this nitrogen factory where it travels up and it makes like these little nodules on all the roots, those are nitrogen factories now, like this year. Typically, they do say wait a year. If you have the time to prepare soil, go for that. What I did this year, there's 10 beds in a row on the east end, and I put cattle panels there in anticipation for 10 of them to be tomatoes, trellises. I've already planted peas there.
So the peas will come up pretty quick, right?
Yes.
That might be something that you could plant like around.
Yeah, because I've got some seedlings.
And right now, the
Ah,
peas, right now.
Yeah.
So this was what I was thinking. I was gonna mention it to you. The 3 sisters. The way that they show that they grow. The spacing is like is it not? Because of how the beans will climb the plants, like climb the corn. That was my question. Because like where I'm learning that legumes are the nitrogen fixer, like these other crops like need that in the future during their growth. So if you grow them together as the companion plants, it kind of just produces that companionship, like that relationship.
Have you all heard of the 3 sisters? So it's a space-saving method as well. My thought would be the more important thing to me to talk about is going to be that you need to plant your corn first. Because if I plant corn and beans at the same time, these beans are probably going to be much taller than the corn. Corn takes a minute. So you got to put your corn in there first. And most corn that I've saw takes about 120 days. We got about 180 growing days, because we are now zone 7A. If you don't know that, it's very important when you pick seeds. You're zone 7A. So if it's hardy to zone 7A, we can grow it. And it actually will overwinter. And I'll talk more about that. So the corn would be the first thing, and then of course the beans are going to grow up that. And then you would probably plant the squash. I would say they would all be planted like 1 and 2 and then 3 for your squash.
Yeah, that's what exactly happened. Where it says the corn, the beans, it's inside, and the squash has the beans in the spacing. That's what I was trying to put on there, because they said, I'll stay about that. So I was thinking,
That would be a good idea. So typically things, and I could say this for a tomato plant, and I would successfully say this about corn and squash, they need a good 1 square foot path. They like give them a foot. You're going to plant a tomato plant here, go 12 inches over and do another. Now you can do intercropping of other things, but the taproot of the tomato is, well, it's not really a taproot. but it's large. It has a lot of biomix. So if you can give it more room, that's great. But you could plant other little things up above it, because the root systems aren't big, like radishes. Radishes are a good pest deterrent, by the way, if you don't know that. They kind of can be considered a trap crop too, because some of the bugs like to eat the tops of them. But I love this idea. Is anybody gonna do this year? You got room to do anything like this?
I'm doing it.
Yeah?
I'm doing it.
Doing beans and squash. The first year that I went from yard to garden, I grew a crop of corn. It was really just for fun, and I was actually, because it takes you have to have several rows to get the pollination. And I was also just wanting to grow something, so it was affected by the wind a little bit. But we actually had delicious corn from right out of our yard the first year. Now the whole summer I was like, why did I give all of this yard to corn? Because I was, it just was like, oh, I could be growing a lot of other things. And so for the size of my yard, I feel like I don't have room. And actually squash is kind of pushing it in my space.
They get huge, don't
Yeah,
they?
they grow a lot. So, but was also, so the first year I grew corn and squash and I did pumpkins because I thought they could just ramble all over the grass and then it was over. I didn't have to mow that side of the yard. And they actually did. I had the coolest Charlie Brown pumpkin patch.
That is so
First
cool.
year. Yeah. But now after that, I focus more on, things that take up less space. I do, and I also know. Oh, the other thing is corn is not for me, when you eat it and you're done and you're like, but
Get water trucks,
yeah, and there was all that.
biomass for pump.
But I just don't feel like it was enough. I was getting enough for the space
Yeah,
that I was using and giving up in my yard.
I was actually at the exact opposite of here. We all actually would like to see not only next month if you're available, but at our event, which we're hoping to have in collaboration is at our farm up here in Canada. It's gonna be a festival where we're collecting kind of our ideas in one place, and we're gonna have volunteer opportunities and connections to where all these little farms are. So you don't have space for that, maybe we could do that at Delaware Farm, right?
Yay! That's
Give
what
me your
I wanted to
ideas.
do.
Let me know if you know for a fact you can produce cucumbers and what amount of them. Let's figure out what mountain or food bank or local location needs that. If you need help in your front yard, you want bulbs planted, you want it to look pretty. She's got the connections to all that. We've got compost, we've got wood chips, and we're also a factor that is sharing those things for free. So these resources are connecting each other and then sharing them with things needed. So
We got it from my Mycelium Network.
put it on the list. We're gonna try to do it on June 6th. It'll be the very first Saturday of next month.
Well, that's why I was drawing these dots when Stacy started talking, because the old traditional row system, like, is so outdated. But we need them clumped together like this, so all of their little fronds can pollinate each other. So you want to do tight spacing with that. I'm great. I'm so glad you could come. Meet all these people.
No.
So glad you're here.
I got some chairs. Do you have? There you go.
Well, we are talking about corn and beans and squash and Three Sisters. Have you ever grown corn?
Yes, that's really good. That's a good idea. They buy that.
So at the Easton Community Garden, which is between Dollar General, it's on Washington Street East and Help Right, There are 30 beds there. And I want to show you just a little diagram of how I'm intercropping. Have you ever heard of intercropping? Intercropping is having like 7 things in one bed. And they're closely planted together because their root systems are complementary. You don't want to plant potatoes and what else grows in the ground? Radishes. You probably don't want to plant them next to each other because they're going to be
Carrots and
possibly nutrients. So you want to think about your root systems. And when you pull things up out of the ground, you can teach yourself this. Some things are really easy to pull out. You're like, oh, that makes very big roots, right? Sometimes pulling up sunflowers.
Yeah, like the banana ones, their roots are so long.
Oh, yes. So, talking about another bio or dynamic accumulator, I love sunflowers, which there are 3 over here. These are the branching sunflowers. Accumulate, I can't even spell right now. Anyway, sunflowers are our biggest bio and dynamic accumulators. And what that means is they're drawing up, their biomass is so large that they have drawn up cadmium, arsenic, lead, and they lock it up in their leaves and their stems. When they pull up, when any of these pull up any of those toxins, they never go to their reproductive systems, which means you can always eat sunflower seeds.
that is miraculous.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that if they absorb all this toxins that live on the seeds. That's good to know.
Correct. Yeah, it doesn't go to the reproductive
Sense.
You would not want to compost them if you knew you had those chemicals. And the reason why I know this.
What's the third one about arsenic?
Lead. Mm-hmm. So the levels of Rebecca Street Urban Garden with Mr. Colliver, probably heard me talk about him or heard anybody talk about him. He's been gardening in the city. Well, he's 93. He did it with his parents. That lead was tested back in 2014. And our lead levels were, I want to say it was 208. Well, the EPA, they're going to come in at 400. That's a little more than 50%. But what this means is we can't grow in the ground. We have to bring all our soil in and grow above ground. But my hope is that I can find the money and the people to work together this year to plant sunflowers and do a retest. Because that's just really exciting. Because we can heal our soil as we do our people. And I'm really excited about this.
Well, for people that would like to help you, would they respond to you like on Facebook or let you know that they're in and they want to help?
I would love to hear from people on Facebook. I'm very reachable. My phone number I've listed up here. I'm very accessible. If you want to learn more about bioaccumulators for using sunflowers, please reach out. We will work together. So there are lots of other bioaccumulators. One of them I like to talk about is mullein. Anybody ever? I know a few people hear me talk about mullein.
Smoked lemon.
What did it do?
It helps you.
Helps your lungs.
So one time I was really good. First time I had it was my cousin. She's a Appalachian witchy good lady. Got those 2 chickens and birds and well, she made me the tea out. Oh, I thought she was crazy. She went out and brought it and made me the tea and because you could barely hear my voice.
How long did it take to help?
Like overnight. It helps.
So mullein is much like sage. Have you ever used sage like to antibacterialize your house or spirits or whatever? If you believe it, it's true. It doesn't mean I have to believe it. It means what we believe is going to be true to happen. So this mullein plant, it has these large lobes. It's a rosette. When things grow from the middle like this, that's called a rosette. These leaves I've seen the rosettes this big. They're huge.
Wow.
They're fuzzy.
I love that.
They look almost whitish, greenish, almost bluish, like
They're a weed.
depends on what your definition of weed is. This to me is medicine. This
Right.
is a
Yeah.
medicine.
Well, I would look at it as a weed, but I think I've seen it all.
Correct. It's a biennial.
So
So-
they do, like, they are kind of a pioneer, so you will see them like like along the side of the road.
Yes,
Or
yes,
in places where the soil has been disturbed. You see them there, yeah.
Mainly all of the weeds that we say
Yes.
are weeds are pioneer
Yes.
species. They move in where it's called white man's footprint. When the Europeans came over, they brought yarrow, plantain, the narrow leaf, broadleaf, all of those things that, like, we could walk outside, take 10 minutes and walk outside and we could find some of these things. So the Europeans brought these seeds over because they were for their health and they were coming to a new land and they didn't know anything. So they weren't native here, but they are now. They've naturalized themselves. I'm so glad you do that. I love sharing all of that. It's so they're coming in to heal the space, coming in to cover up the soil. What happens when you don't cover up your soil?
Clay turns into just
When you
horrible
have bare
stuff.
soil, erosion, compaction, all of that sunburn. So,
What do you cover your soil up with, mulch?
well, you could use mulch, but the pioneer things that move in, all the weeds that we would say we don't
Oh,
like.
maybe put black, plastic over the rocks, keep on flying over.
If you wanted to use black plastic to help kill some things and then replant, I wouldn't suggest always keeping the plastic there. Like
Pull it off,
suffocate.
and that's the job.
Yeah, depending on how you want to move forward. So those pioneer species are actually medicine to us. So I always do like to hear people's definition of a weed. And I used to think things were weeds also. Even that creepy Charlie. That's probably the one that I do not like the most.
Oh, yeah.
I do try to eat it.
What do you call it?
Creepy Charlie.
If you, a great place to see, well, in fact, that's your, but a bunch of mullein is along, no, it's actually just right here in the city, is if you're going down, I don't know if it's Crescent Road or Piedmont, I think it's back there on the back. What's the way I go to avoid all the stoplights when I'm going east? Anyway, there's right there where the interstate, I think it's Crescent, I think it's actually Crescent. Anyway, there's a kind of a shaly slope that comes down. It's the bottom of Market Hill and Dayton and all of those hills that come off the west. There's just a ton of pollen that grows there. And it's so beautiful. It's really like a strong, beautiful.
Yeah, well, when Mary showed me the pictures, like, yeah, I know I've seen it, and it, especially alongside of the road.
It gets along the road a lot.
And it's a biannual plant, so 1 year it's real low to the ground and it doesn't flower, and the next year it sends that huge shoot up.
Really tall
Yeah.
stalk, which is also fun. My first
Torches.
thing was making torches out of the stalks, and that's how I really learned about mullein. Was I worked in an outdoor leadership program, and we used to we'd cut them and then dip them in wax and set them out. Make torches. It was an activity that we
Oh, the
did.
kids, my great kids would love that.
They had burned for a long time. Yeah, the kids.
And it's very hard to break that, the flower shoot too. It's super hard.
Yeah, it's very sturdy.
What would you use if you break it?
Well, you could probably use a knickers or lockers or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But for the purpose what you're talking about, the bigger the better, I say.
Yeah, I also, it was kind of sad, it would be so pretty and, so it's kind of ceremonial to like.
Well, if you don't have it, can you transplant it, get it to grow or something?
Absolutely. I've done this. So last year I brought some, I went to Winfield and saw them. I was like, yeah, I took a bunch more. And there was native yarrow there too.
We just drive around with a shovel.
It's a good idea.
Shovel's in my trunk.
If you get pulled over, you're going to jail,
Just gardening. So the second year it flowers. It has these little yellow flowers, and if you gather them as they are flowering and put them in olive oil, make sure you shake them up so they get covered. You'll harvest like many times to fill your jar. Now it's an earache oil after you let it set for about 4 to 6 weeks. Some of those 4 to 6 weeks, 2 weeks, you know, we can research that and think about that better. But typically the plant material and the flowers usually have two different properties to help you with two different ailments. So that is just about everything that you know.
So awesome, isn't it?
It is. It's so amazing.
God is just really loving us so much.
Yes, I'm so
Amen.
glad to be able to have that connection because there's bacteria in the soil. When you get your hands in there, research says that this bacteria, it starts with an N, it helps our body produce serotonin. Hello.
Hello.
Give me some dirt.
But we always wash our hands before we eat.
Well, and on what we're eating, like those things I ate, the newspaper article.
We don't want worms.
I didn't understand.
We don't want worms. Larvae.
Well, that's true. We are full of parasites
Tapeworm,
and bacteria. Because we got trillions.
Well, some of them are very beneficial, actually, in our gut.
So that rhizosphere we were talking about, I just want to relate and say that the rhizosphere, where all the bacteria, handshake, chemical things are happening, it's just like our gut. So the more that we feed the soil, we don't want to feed the plant, we want to feed the soil, because the soil will take care of the plant.
Exactly.
Where are we going next? Let's go back to calendula. Calendula is called pot marigold. It is a medicine. Pot marigold, calendula. So the way that we could say it to help us learn how to spell it is calendula.
Calendula.
Yeah, me too.
I never heard it pronounced. I just read it.
But I did that in grade school with chocolate.
There you go.
So yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No.
I like things that serve more than one purpose.
Yeah.
Calendula is a cut flower. It's a medicine, and it's also a pest attractant and deterrent. So it's got 4 purposes.
What was the fourth one?
Pest deterrent and attractant.
Attractive.
What does that mean? Well, it's going to deter some pests because of the smell, and it is the chemical smells of things that makes it kind of like makes your garden invisible because they're confused. They're looking for beets, and they smell calendula, and they're like, "Not going over there."
Like a net, and it's like a barrier.
Yes, absolutely. And if you've ever touched a calendula plant, the leaves aren't this way, but the flower itself is very sticky. So there are some flying insects that get stuck on there and they just die.
Like flies.
Yeah, yeah. They don't eat them, but they basically just die on the plant.
So I think does that mean that they are also a deer, something deer don't like? Because I know their texture. The sunflowers I've read, deer don't like. So I planted some of those.
I'm not for sure about the deer repellent. I've not heard that, but we should look that up.
Milk and eggs,
I
they
heard that
hate.
about America.
The milk and
Yes.
the butter, milk and eggs, they don't like. So who wants to be slinging that all around?
Well, let's talk about marigolds for a minute because they're not just a pretty flower. They are actually a pest deterrent as well as giving off chemicals in the rhizosphere. So again, we got like our marigold plant, looks like a popcorn plant. This is the soil level. And the root systems down here, we're just gonna say this is the root system. They give off the sugars, you know, they do that same handshake. They produce sugars and take up nutrients to give, you know, to make the plant grow. But they also release something. It's called alpha T. It's a big long T word, but it's recognized as alpha T. Nematodes. Nematodes, there's thousands of varieties of nematodes. Some are beneficial, some are not. If you've ever had a plant where you went out and today it was great and tomorrow it was dead, it's probably because the nematodes eating your roots.
This old lip is like ugly looking one.
Well, not for sure. I think nematodes are more microscopic. But there's all kinds of
Like
things.
really little,
Next, we'll look this up. We'll know next time.
yeah.
So this alpha T kills them on contact. It is not a warning. They do not get a warning. It is dead on contact from this alpha T that this is constantly producing
In the marigold.
from a marigold. This is why they say surround your garden with marigolds. And also cutworms. You ever heard of
Oh,
cutworms?
yeah, I hate this.
If I were a plant and I had a big shawl, let's say the shawl I'm putting around me is a cutworm, just keep on going. It just cuts the plant in half. And it's mainly seedlings. They love eating fresh seedlings. They love sandy soil. But guess what else? Plants deter cutworms. The allium family. Anybody know what alliums are?
Dill and all that stuff. Pickles.
All the onions. Onions, garlic, chives, leeks. I'm planting leeks this year for the first time. These give off sulfur. Let's learn how to spell. Sulfur is one of the biggest deterrents that we could use in our garden. So at the east end, about every 6 inches, sometimes 4 inches, we plant Spanish onions. And if you go look, and I hope you do, and I want to invite you all to come every Thursday, we're volunteering over there.
Spanish beans bigger. Say the onions are bigger than the Spanish.
These are going to get 6 inches. That's, yeah, like a normal onion. I just bought them because it was a whole bag. I didn't get a whole bag of the yellow ones, so I'm like, I'm going to get these. I haven't tasted them, but I'm sure they're still going to taste this. But the biggest, other than the harvest of sharing all these onions, which we're going to have close to 1,500 onions, which is amazing, but we're deterring these pests. Not only are they supposed to deter like our normal aphids and pests like that, it's also supposed to deter squirrels, that they don't like that. We have a lot of walnut trees growing in our beds because the squirrels are, you know, going. Yeah, they're digging them. So dill, along with borage and marigolds, dill is also highly coveted for drawing in butterflies and those beneficial wasps. They sort of look like
You said marigold.
they all do. All of the ones we're talking about now, calendula, borage, nasturtiums, and dill, but specifically dill is, not only is it tasty if you like dill, they are a host plant for swallowtail butterflies.
Yes.
Have you seen them?
Yes, last year there was a bunch growing on one of my dill plants. Like as it was dying, they were just like finishing it off. I've got pictures, but I
I
enjoyed
love
it.
that.
Yeah.
So yes, they are sort of like the monarchs only go to the
Milkweed,
this
right?
Levia milkweed. The swallowtail butterflies go to dill, and that is their host plant.
Do they go to parsley too?
I'm not for sure.
I saw some babies in my parsley roots.
I think I did read that it also goes to parsley.
That's awesome. Well, we definitely need parsley also, and any of our herbs any of our herbs is gonna help you. If you don't like none of these to eat, please still plant some, but plant what herbs you like. Because every herb gives off a scent. Like the rosemary has that rosmarinic acid. I thought I was so cool by remembering that.
You are cool.
You are.
But what's even cooler is understanding that the whole mint family has that rosmarinic acid in it. And what that rosmarinic acid is helping people with loss of hair. What's that?
Alopecia.
Alopecia.
Grow that.
We were going to do that at the senior center because some of the people are experiencing that. And I was like, man, we got to buy more rosemary plants. And, I'm like, oh, I don't think I have enough. Guess what? Lemon balm, all the mint family has that rosmarinic acid in it. So how you would fix that, if we were going to make a little spray, you would make it like a tea. You would steep it for like 15 minutes, strain it, let it cool, put it in a bottle, and every day, several times a day, you would massage it in your scalp. So you could do it, the whole mint family and rosemary.
It'll smell good.
Yes.
So, have y'all ever touched rosemary? Ever smelled rosemary? It just instantly, like, that stuff's getting in your nose. Furthermore, it's going down into your lungs. We're instantly, like, giving ourselves a lung,
Fall treatment.
a spa treatment. Yeah. So feel encouraged that these are going to help you, especially if you're still experiencing those issues. Just get some rosemary, crumble it up, smell it. You could even put it in a pot of water, steaming water with a towel if you're feeling gunky. Thyme, rosemary, and mint will help your sinuses clear in a water bath with a towel over you. Eating it, I think, is always the best way. Get it in yourself. But anyway, you can get it in yourself.
Lemonade. Mint lemonade.
That sounds good.
Mint tea.
Yeah, mint tea. So back to this mullein before, and you made me think of the mullein again, like that sage. When you smell it or smoke the mullein, it literally is cleaning your lungs. So you typically know that smoke is not good for your lungs, but this smoke is actually good. So it's very encouraging. And I gave it to somebody at the other place where I go for gardening, and they said it helped them too. And I take it occasionally. Sometimes I get a little wheezy, and I'm like, light me some. All right, so
Make a cigarette, a lot of paper, and then pour it in there and smoke.
You could. There are people who say that.
I've been buying a tincture and I want to make that from old growing my properties. Yeah, I've heard that smoking is the only herb that when it burns, it actually they say it burns cool. It's like cooling to your body instead of keeping this alcohol.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also is an expectorant. I don't know if you experienced coughing, but it causes a little spasms to like get that gunk out. Yeah. So for people with asthma, it's really perfect because they're very mucousy, inflamed. Let's see. Okay, so the marigolds, we all want to plant marigolds. There's free marigold seeds over here. Have you ever planted seeds before?
This is my first year because I could never do them in New York. The ground was never warm enough. In the sun, I didn't have a sunny place. So, yes, I planted, I think I did marigold zinnias, sunflowers, peas and beans with the flowers. Yeah, so it's going well. I don't know, I mean, they're still tiny and but my peas are awesome.
Well, so there's a difference between cool season, warm season plants, and it's possible for the next 2 weeks we're gonna have really cool weather, but your peas are gonna love it.
Mhm.
Collards, kale, kohlrabi, there's full season plants.
Cauliflower,
And your warm
broccoli.
season are your zinnias and your marigolds. So if you have the ability, maybe
I'm gonna have to cover them yet, just to be sure. And
Or-
wildflowers, that's what I've got, wildflowers.
Now, are those,
When we had that frost a couple weeks ago, it was very late, but I could tell in I mean, we've got raised beds full of wildflower seeds. And, a few of them died. But I thought wildflowers are something you can plant when it's cooler out.
well, it depends on which wildflower. There are about 70 to 80 full season flowers that will survive our zone 7A. But again, it's kind of like a timing game. My peach tree and my daffodils this year had something called bud blast. And I'm
Did
very
you say that word again?
bud blast.
Because it was warm and then they came out. My
Yes.
magnolia tree got it just as they were starting, just as the flowers were starting.
Mine too. My nectarines, my plums, and my cherries. But my peach, it came through. Just one.
Right.
Does it kill it? So the plant doesn't die, the tree didn't die, it's the flower, so let's just do both of them each, one at a time. The daffodils, I planted about 400 under my fruit trees. And they came up, they were beautiful, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get them. I picked a couple, and then we got a cold snap, and I really wasn't even thinking about that cold snap at that time. But like every day, I'd walk past these things, and they were just like these little goosenecks. And one day I just grabbed one and it just disintegrated in my hand. It was like dust. What was going on? So it gave me like 5 things that could have happened, but the temperature swing was what happened to me. Because the plant was beautiful, greenery was all up. And the peach tree, the tail end of the blooming, which happened to my, what's that tree in front? Apricot. You're such a good memory.
I remember too.
I haven't got fruit on that thing for 3 years. It blooms before anything else that I have.
And the
But anyway,
frost
my peach tree, it's still alive, but there's
Yeah.
nothing on it. Well, my cherry tree has some on it. Do you have cherry tree?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did all of those except the only tree that worked out was the Reliance peach.
So, nasturtiums. Have you guys ever tried nasturtiums?
What did you say that word is?
Nasturtium?
Spell it.
They're so pretty.
And they taste pretty amazing, like radish, like a sweet radish.
The actual bloom?
The bloom, the leaves, they're
They're
wonderful.
also a trap crop. So if you're growing a lot of food, you should grow them in your garden as well. But if you made an extra little effort to put some things over here, like nasturtiums with some things, the aphids will come to your nasturtiums and not your other plants.
Yay!
So we love trap crops. And more than likely, you can catch them in time because do you know where the aphid lay their eggs? They're on the back side of your leaf. So if you inspect your things every day, you'll see it's like a grid. Like if this was your leaf, they're like all compact together.
And they're like they love roses. But I've been lucky they didn't at this location on live now. They've got to stop talking. But way up on, in Hurricane, I noticed where now there. Glendale Avenue,
That's great.
Is there a
Maybe
restroom?
somebody planted nasturtiums.
Is there a bathroom in here?
I know it's back there to the left.
I'm gonna pause